So we know that Kweku's institution is supposed to do ABCD.
Yeah.
He's not doing it. Instead of us to push him to get him to do it, then we say, okay, Vivian, form a new institution and do it. And we keep doing that. And that's where I depart with this oral thing. It's not that what they're doing is problematic or wrong to me, but the constitutionality of it, where does it situate in terms of the law, and the sustainability is where I depart from. But yesterday, the minister designates, you know, justified its constitutionality. So we'll see how it goes. But they have been busy going around the, you know, Greater Accra region, looking at lands and all that. And so we'll see how things pan out.
Yeah. Interesting times. Looking forward to a positive move forward for the country at the end of the day.
You don't do betting, do you?
No, I don't.
Okay, so
no,
the tax
I don't
as
believe
well
in it.
Has been, you know, the betting tax is going to go.
It will benefit those who do.
You want to mention a name here?
No,
please don't
there are people who do. No, they are here.
Hello to them.
Hi to all of them.
Charlie, 2025, I want to make you happy. Do it.
If I do.
Don't mind anybody. Okay, so if you permit me, I'll start with the Daily Graphic. And they say spare parents SHS funding burden. This is Charles Wright's boss, Bright Wiku appears speaking. And then from the button, these are the angles the Daily Graphic took. Will the energy minister designate? They say government will explore private participation in ECG. Minister designate for energy, John Abdullahi Jinaport there. And then also we have finance ministers that designate promises economic relief, e-levy, betting tax to go. So that's the angles from the Daily Graphic. And then, of course, the 76th New Year School opens today. If you go to the back page of the Daily Graphic, they have two infrastructure and utility stories. One, final works at Obechepi Lamte interchange to be completed in March. Engineer. I thought they were done before they went to inaugurate it.
No, they were not done.
Oh, but you can do that.
No, well, we did it. No, we did it.
You know, because I remember when we covered the inauguration and prior to that, you know, there was a lot of traffic on that stretch. And then when it was inaugurated, we went back to test how the traffic flew. And it didn't look complete. And a lot of, you know, commuters were complaining. I was like, but the thing has been done. So we are told the final work. So I'll give you details of what final works that is. But the flower pot one is fully complete. Or that one to know?
Well, you see, the thing is that there's arterial roads and other things that need to be completed for the entire system to be finished properly. You know, so in all the different cases, you find that there's bits and pieces of things that have not been completely done.
But this one, we are told that it includes pavement blocks on the walkways, which is critical.
Yes.
I mean, you see people walking on the streets.
But I've driven there, so I know they've not done. It's not been done.
And then the wearing course, which is the second course of asphalt. So the first one was just one.
Yes, it's just the first. They've only done the first.
Road lines and markings.
Yes, there's no road. There's no markings
this thing about us building roads without markings, and then the old ones, when they fade, we don't it's a big problem. You're driving and somebody is coming to your lane because obviously the markings
there's no markings
are non-existent. So there's not been any marks. So people have been driving your own lanes.
No, I know. I have an idea where the area is in my space. So special you know, designation is not difficult for me. So I stay on my side.
Road lines and markings, of course, I've said that. Road furniture, as in road signs, directional signs, all absent. And then installation of traffic lights. So what did you guys have?
Oh, it's a road. We built an interchange.
Oh no.
So we had to inaugurate it so that people can start, like you open it, you see, so that people can start moving and using it.
Well, the engineer says those delays were because of financial situation, which is normal in this part of the world. And then let me take you to another one. It has to do with utility. Whole faces persistent water shortage. We did this story last week, I believe, and we're told the issue still persists. So at this time, no water, Hamatan, and you know, hot and everything.
Hot, dry.
We hope whoever is in charge gets it fixed. But I'll give you details on why it's been happening for a bit. So this is from the Daily Graphic.
I'll take you to the Ghanaian Times, and it says here, at vetting of ministerial nominees, 2025 budget to scrap e-levy and betting tax. This is coming from Dr. Forson. That is Dr. Kasia Atuforson. Legislate prevention of political appointees from buying state lands. Okay, we have government will tackle corruption head on. President assures clergy. CRI, that's Charles Rights International, alarmed over proposals for parents to bear SHS cost. And those are the front. That's the front page headlines. We have on the back page, suspend small-scale mining for 6 months. And that's the Ghana Coalition of NGOs in Health. They are recommending that there's a 6-month suspension of all forms of small-scale mining. I'll give you some details later on. And University of Ghana and the Saudi Arabia Embassy observe World Arabic Language Day. So those are the headlines on the Ghanaian Times.
Okay, let me take you to the Chronicle. Its front page. It has the boss of Jospon, Dr. Seau Japon, because he says, I endorse Mohammed's 24-hour economy. Okay. So that's why he's there. And then still with that paper, Oponi trial, scientists disputes GSA first report on lithovit fertilizer. So that's from the Oponi trial. This trial has run for
a long time.
Then,
way too long.
Yeah, there are angles from the vetting of the Minister Designate for Finance Energy. They use this angle. Roll tolls will be brought back at Forson, and then also energy sector debts hit record $3 billion and still counting. So this is from the Chronicle, right?
All right, so the New Republic has some interesting headlines. It says here, National Security Cartel blows $3 million on toy, in quote, toy spyware as devices meant to eavesdrop on citizens fail to work.
Toy.
Yeah, toy spyware.
So the
$3 million.
Fake or it didn't work or what? You have to give us details.
You're interested in the details. Okay, all right, I'll give you the details. NIB boss in oral trouble as shocking evidence emerged over land grab after lawyer's denial. So remember the story of it said he had come, I think it was Martin People who was said that he had come to
and he said
say
he
that
wasn't
I'm not
true.
interested in the land anymore, and so take the land, and then that was Atobra, and then there was a rebuttal from the lawyer of the NIB, former NIB boss, saying that nothing like that has transpired, nothing as that has gone on, nothing is going on. So now they're saying here on page 2 of the New Republic that shocking evidence emerged over land grab after the lawyer's denial.
Okay.
So it will be interesting.
So you have to give us those details as well.
And Kufuor's statue of Vanity in Second D has been vandalized. That one we saw that yesterday. Yeah. All right, so that's what we have for the New Republic.
Okay, let me take you to the Economy Times, do a bit of business. Says Mahama focuses on creating well-paying jobs for Ghanaians as AGI calls for tax reforms. And then 244 megawatts additional power generation needed before end of 2025 to avoid power disruptions. And then Ghanaians extol Atuforson as best fit for Finance Ministry. So these are the stories from Economy Times.
All right, let's get into some details.
All right.
So you want to do the spyware?
Let me hear the toy.
Okay, all right.
The 3 million toy.
All right, so National Security Cartel blows $3 million on toy, in quote, spyware as devices meant to eavesdrop on citizens fail to work. Now, a high-priced spy device purchased for a staggering $3 million by a cartel within the National Intelligence leadership intended for illegal eavesdropping on private conversations of citizens now sits unused at the National Signal Bureau. Now, obtained in 2018 under the pretext of enhancing national security, the IMSI catcher device was actually aimed at monitoring the discussions of political adversaries by the National Intelligence Directors from the Dankwa Institute. This is what the story says. The IMSI catcher, which stands for the International Mobile Subscriber Identity Catcher, is a tool for surveilling mobile phone communications and tracking the locations of users, often employed by oppressive regimes to violate civil liberties. Now, insiders at the National Security disclosed to the New Republic newspaper that a fully operational IMSI device typically costs around $300,000, a fraction of the exorbitant $3 million price tag attached to this particular ineffective device. Allegedly, the Israeli supplier of the device, whose identity remains undisclosed, suspected the illicit motives of national security leaders Nana Atubra Kweku and Kwabna Edubuahin, leading them to deactivate the device, rendering it inoperable. Whoa.
Okay, so did they? Do you have the side of the Nana?
Oh, Nana Atubra. No, we don't have it. This is just a one. Yes, it's just
allegations.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. So of course we disassociate ourselves.
Yes, of
from,
course.
It's
what the story says,
but
that's not. Yes, exactly.
Okay, so 300,000 instead of 3 million. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the claim.
All right. Let me take you to the Daily Graphic and give you bits and pieces of their 3 top stories. The first to do with spare parents, SHS funding burden. This is Child Rights Boss speaking. So the Executive Director of Child Rights International, Bright Kweku Appiah, has stated that any review of the free senior high school policy should not include asking parents to shoulder the cost of feeding and accommodation for students. He described such proposals as a direct threat to the fundamental principles of the policy. Now, speaking in an interview with the Daily Graphic, Mr. Appiah argued that the free SHS program was designed to eliminate financial barriers and promote inclusiveness, warning that shifting costs to parents would undermine these objectives. So that's the first one. And I think he makes a solid point, especially for parents who can afford, for which they're excited about the free SHS policy. Of course, for those who can afford, great. But those who are struggling to get their wards into school, now you're saying that they should pay for food and accommodation. How will they be able to do that? So we'll see that how that goes. And then, of course, President Mahama has directed that food meant for the dry spell, be given to the schools to deal with this issue of shortage of food and all that. So that's from Child Rights International. Let me take you to the vetting and bring you details. Let me start with the Minister Designate for Energy. He says government will explore private participation in ECG. So this is still with the Daily Graphic. If you go to page 14 of the paper. Now the story says that the Minister of Energy and Green Transition Designate, John Jinapor, has said the government to explore private sector involvement in the operation of ECG to improve its efficiency and revenue collection. He said the government was in the process of setting up a 7-member committee with a mandate to evaluate best practices and recommend the most suitable privatization framework to the government. So that's on the ECG one, and then the Minister Designate for Energy. Let me wrap up with the Finance Minister. He's saying e-levy and betting tax to go. So I'll go straight to that part on scrapping taxes, still with the Daily Graphic. Now, with this sub-headline, scrapping taxes on the story, it says, answering questions from Parliament's Appointments Committee yesterday, Dr. Forson said the government will scrap taxes that constituted a nuisance to Ghanaians. Accordingly, he said burdensome taxes, including the betting tax and the e-levy that were imposed by the previous administration, will be scrapped in the first budget if he is approved as finance minister. He said he had written a number of articles and spoken, quote, against the implementation of the e-levy, and I will still stand by it, unquote. Quote again, in the first budget of this government, I want to assure you that the e-levy will go, he stressed. Me, the e-levy, I'm excited,
Yeah.
Because when you send the money from the 1,000 going, Kweku, you'll be crying with the figure they take.
Oh yeah. No, but even, I mean, for even those who don't spend
as
that much, but you know, from 100 Ghana cedis going, it's always every little bit beyond 100 Ghana, you're taking it, you know. So it all adds up at the end of the day.
So we are waiting for the first budget to be read, and then of course the e-levy is.
We'll see what things look like in that one, in the first budget.
You know, people cut e-levy cake when it was in. You know, do we cut e-levy cake when it goes?
We'll pop champagne.
Oh, nice. Okay.
No, so let's go to ChannelOneNews.com. Let me just give you a few headlines there. We have Muhammad expected to visit Boku today. We have Ashanti region stories. The presidential villa was abandoned because of financial constraints. Okay. Question I have is, where did they stay? And when the president visited Kumasi, what happened? You know, that would be interesting to know that. Jacob Zuma.
Well, I'm told that he said he was living in his private residence as a minister, and then some of these bungalows or installations were abandoned before he came into, you know, power and all that.
No, you see,
he's given, you know, pictures and details of what he says.
But you see, it's also it also makes your position questionable and untenable, in the sense that as a regional minister, a part of your responsibility is to look after the facilities of state that have been bequeathed to you under your tenure.
That's true.
Right. So if you are in charge of the region, your president who appointed you, that's his house in your region. It's not your property. It is the president's house where he will stay together with his entourage in your region. So to even have the temerity to make an excuse that it was abandoned before your time, sometimes I wonder sometimes, you know, really.
I mean, if you are not going to use it, take care of it.
At least take care of it.
That's all.
At least take care of it. Yeah.
And me, what I'm still finding it difficult to comprehend with these, what you call it, buildings. Because if you look at on Sunday when Hafiz was there live to take us through how the various facilities, the shape in which they were, you could see shattered glass windows, and you see that it was deliberately destroyed.
And you see the frames have been torn out of the wall.
Yeah, the ACs taken out, the wiring destroyed, furniture, you know, all that. And it comes back to your question. You are not using it, that's fine. We can't force you to use something you don't want to use. But make sure it's in good shape. And then we're told that stretch, there was security there to protect the place. So if the security were there to protect, who passed by them, or are they the ones who you know, and then there was a pickup, the engine destroyed, it's, you know, ruined. And I'm thinking, we claim as a country, or we do know that we struggle with money. We say we don't have money, and then this is money going to it.
I think we should stop that narrative of we don't have money, because we see a lot of wastage. You know, we see a lot of wastage.
That's what it is. You have children ready to go to school. We say we don't have money to buy food for them. You have ABC happening. You need to take care of it financially. We don't have money. Even look at the power industry, the distribution side and all that. Look at the debt there. We don't have money to pay people, you know, people who provided the IPPs. And yet, this they're going to use money to fix it.
Of course, the same money that we don't have.
And so I have a problem with that.
No, it's very problematic. It's very anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you too.
All right, have a wonderful day.
Have a lovely one.
See you on the other side.
See you on the other side.
All right.